Thanks everybody for coming along today. I'm very honoured to be asked to present today. Telstra has asked me to tell a little bit about my story in the hope that it will inspire others and help others to make some key decisions in their lives. So I'm not much of a public speaker, and this side of is something that I have struggled with, but it's just a challenge. So basically a little bit about myself. Many years ago, I decided that I was going to delete the word problem from my life. So I no longer have problems in my life. I only have challenges. So when my staff come to me and they say, I've got a problem, I say, no, you don't. You only have a challenge. And it seems to change your perception on how to cope and deal with different things in your life. So yeah, today I just wanted to tell you a little bit about my story, and throughout it I'm going to look at a few key challenges that I've faced that have been actual turning points where I've had to change the way we do things as a business, the way we do things as a family as well. So, okay. So first of all, I worked out pretty early on, in order to be successful in life, you needed to change your mindset. You need to have an attitude of never give up and feed on positivity. So it's really important that you don't have that negativity in your world. And at every opportunity you can, you need to embrace opportunities. You need to be open to them and take them all on board. So I'll start way back at the beginning. This is my mum, Heather. I grew up in country Victoria in a small town called Swan Hill. So my mum is a retired nurse, and she's been the strength to push me throughout my life. So she always taught me where there's a will, there's a way, and she certainly stood beside me through everything I've ever done. This is my dad, Eric. This photo is not his favourite. It's the one and only fish he's ever caught in his entire life. So he's pretty proud. I'm proud of him for actually going fishing with me. So, but my dad is a retired bus driver. He's always worked in logistics. And he taught me that you needed to have really strong morals, a good work ethic, and great self-respect in order to get through all the challenges you're going to face in your life. So. As a child, grew up on a farm, so every photo I could find had a pet in my hand. And yeah, I had 3 brothers and sisters. I was the baby, so I learnt negotiation skills pretty early. I had them all wrapped up. At the age of 16, I moved out of home and with my boyfriend of the time. And by the time I was 19, we had purchased a house. At the age of 21, I found myself to be a single parent. So obviously that wasn't planned, but these things happen. On a rare outing one night, I was lucky enough to meet up with an old school friend, and that is Justin, my husband now. And he didn't run for the hills when he found out I had a small child, so that was a bonus. So we went on to get married, and with Justin came opportunity. So what Justin wanted was to move to Darwin because it was a land of opportunity, and we were going to be able to succeed in life. So along came our very first challenge when we announced to the world that we were going to move to Darwin. Jacob's father didn't think that was such a great idea. So we soon were issued with court papers at the age of 22 saying that we couldn't leave the state of Victoria. So we didn't have a whole lot of money, and back in those days I went to lots of different lawyers, and they said to me, it's all too hard. You don't have enough money. All the judges are just going to make you stay in Victoria, so don't even bother, just stay here. I didn't give up. Like my mum said, where there's a will, there's a way. And, you know, back in those days, your yellow pages is where you found your information. There was no internet, and word of mouth. Eventually, I found a lady in Melbourne, and her name was Helen. And she actually taught us what it was like to be on the receiving end of people giving back. So when I found Helen, she was, you know, she had an attitude of a lion and a heart of gold, but she was a complete rattlesnake. And I walked into her office, and she pretty much said to me, I don't see why you can't achieve your dreams. I don't mind how much money you have. I will help you get there. So this is not Helen, but this is very much what she looked like. She was pretty scary. She was pretty scary, scared me. But certainly she had the biggest heart of gold. And if it wasn't for her, we certainly would have never made it to Darwin. So after 6 months of going through family court, we finally were able to move to Darwin. So I guess this taught us very early on in our life that don't give up. If you've got a dream or you want to achieve something, you need to just keep looking for a person who will help you. If you can't achieve it on your own, there is someone out there. And if the first person says you can't do it, then keep looking until you find someone who can help you. So obviously that's where there's a will, there's a way. So that's a saying that's very strong in my world. Okay, so off we trundled, and old caravan and old car, $1,000 in the bank. We'd spent it all at family court, so we were off to start our new life. We spent the first 11 months living in a caravan in the caravan park, which I think is a pretty common territory story. Most people have done that, I think, that moved to Darwin. Justin and I both had good jobs, and we thought, let's make Darwin home. So we went out and purchased our very first block of land. So we thought, how complicated can this be? We've got Justin's a qualified builder. Surely we can build a house. So along comes challenge number 2. So we were only about 23 at the time, and maybe 24, and never really dealt with banks before. And the bank manager told us everything was wonderful and go ahead and start building. So we've put the slab down, and then we get that phone call that says, stop building. The powers above me have declined your finance, and you need to completely just hold it there. So after 3 months of negotiating with the banks, and we finally got the all clear to continue construction. What we didn't realise was we'd inadvertently signed that a quarter of the money we needed to build the house wasn't going to come to us until the house was finished. So this is usually a bit of a challenge because you don't tend to borrow more money than you actually need. So we were building the house on weekends and after hours, and it wasn't long before we started to run short on cash. Pretty much it was the year 2000 and the GST had come in, construction industry was pretty quiet, so Justin didn't have a huge amount of work. I was heavily pregnant with our second child, and Justin came down with pneumonia, so we were in quite a challenging time. Topped with that, the house we were renting got sold and we had to move out. So we now had a half-built house and nowhere to live. So we put a caravan on the block behind the house, and we're travelling a couple of suburbs each day to have a shower in a storage shed with no hot water. With a 4-year-old was a bit of a... He screamed loud every time. So eventually what happened was we started to get court orders. So contractors and suppliers were screaming for money. They wouldn't do any more work on the house until we paid them. But unfortunately we had this light that said, there's money there, but you just got to finish it to get there. So in the end we had to completely swallow our pride and pretty much negotiate to complete the house. So luckily everybody was understanding and accepted that they wouldn't get any money if they didn't help us. So we were able to do that. But this taught us really early on about building reserves. So we learnt pretty young that you need to have those reserves for times when you need them. So you need to have a backup plan. So that pushed us into heavily getting into investment properties. So at the moment, I think today Justin and I have approximately 70 properties that we own across Australia, and from that we were able to build another business called Abode Property Management. So Abode Property Management is here in Darwin. We have a team of amazing people in there, and we manage about 130 properties. So we've taken a whole different approach to property management, and we're completely technology focused. So it's a real turning point on that side of things. So once we've obviously finished the house and worked out we had to do something different, so gee, this is boring now, we haven't got anything left, we need a new challenge. Justin was working as a contractor and I was working in a full-time job as an office person, and thought, hey, we've run out of challenges, we need a new one, so why don't we buy a business? Well, this can't be too hard, this will be great. So we looked at purchasing a franchise business, and we thought this would be wonderful. We'll get a business in a box, perfect, it'll land here, we'll open it up and have all the mentoring, all the coaching, policies, procedures, you name it, and we'll we'll end up with a successful business. As you can see, we weren't very old. Determination was definitely something that was the key. But as soon as this building company landed here, we soon realised you can't pick up a company from interstate to build houses and land it in Darwin. The construction methods are different, policies, procedures don't work, and it wasn't long before all their mentoring and coaching disappeared because they realised they'd sold us a lemon. So this is our very first display home. We worked 7 days a week. Our kids would come here and sleep in swags of a night time so we could get things done. We had no idea what we were doing, but we went to every course we could find in order to achieve our goals of becoming successful. So we set about learning and did everything we could to learn. Funnily enough, we were one of the most successful franchisees that they'd had. So when it came time that we said, we don't want to pay you any money anymore for doing nothing, they fought us in court. We were obviously lucky enough to win, and Abode New Homes was born. So Abode New Homes was the 2017 Australian Small Builder of the Year, as noted by the HIA. We've also been the most professional builder in Darwin for the last 8 years in a row, and we've won the Telstra Business of the Year, and more recently, the Telstra Businesswoman of the Year. So pretty much this lesson taught us that you need to acquire know-how. At no point in time do you know everything. You need to keep learning and keep evolving for your business, for your personal self, and for those people around you. And knowledge really is the key to success. And the moment you stop learning is the moment that you don't move forward in your life. So today, we're still doing courses. We go overseas, in Australia. We do a lot of personal development as well as business development. So everything we do is all about bettering ourselves and then bettering those around us. So everything's going well. We have great business. We've got it all going on. What could go wrong? Well, it's one of those middle of the night phone calls that no one ever wants to get. So it's sort of went something along the lines of, hi, it's the Palmerston Police Station on the phone. Your premises is on fire. You need to attend immediately. So, pretty scary thought. 3 o'clock in the morning, we're driving to the office. I think it was the longest drive to work I've ever had in my life, in fetal position in front of the car, thinking, what are we going to do? What can we do with nothing left? When we arrived, there was fire trucks all around the building. They wouldn't let us within a block. It was too dangerous. And they basically just said, wait there. I'm one of those people that really can't deal with anything bad. If someone cuts themselves, they sort of need to tell me how bad it is before I look, so I can mentally prepare myself. And if they lie to me, I'll run the other way. So it probably wasn't a very good idea for me to break through the barrier. So Justin broke through their barriers after a little while and went, and he was gone for what seemed like eternity. In the meantime, I'm sitting on the grass, hyperventilating, thinking, oh my God, I've got no data. I've got no information. I've got 30 homes in construction. How do I finish them? I don't know what colours they're going to be. I've affected the lives of all these people, and there wasn't anything I could do about it. So, anyhow, I sat there panicking for a while, and Justin, finally, I looked up and he's coming back and he's running, this huge big smile on his face. That's a really odd thing to be happy at this time. And he's come running and says, okay, it's not our office, it's the office next door. But not so good for them, but admittedly, we still had a lot of downtime. We had smoke damage, but our precious data was safe. But I tell you what, that feeling of thinking you have lost everything is not a feeling you ever want to go through. So we set about finding other ways to do business. So I guess we pretty much looked and we realised technology is definitely the way to go. So you're not relying on physical information. So we sort of did everything we could and looked around and we worked out technology as your friend. Today we are the most technologically advanced construction company in Australia. We work heavily to make sure everyone is communicated with, all our data is protected, and we've just embraced technology through and through. Hence, that's how we became the face of Telstra's Be That Business campaign, and it's a national
that
campaign.
Business, the one that's known for that thing, that's something special. like that project construction company, Abode New Homes. Life partners, business partners, had the connections, had no clue about IT. Got some advice from Telstra, stuck their files in the cloud to work from more places with Telstra Cloud Solutions. But you know what? This business started like yours. Be that business with the tools to help you thrive.
So yeah, it's pretty much technology is the best thing that's ever happened to us in our business, across all of our businesses. And it's one of those things that you need to constantly embrace and change it with. Okay, so again, we're thinking everything's going wonderfully and nothing more can go wrong, surely not. And that's when along came my diagnosis. So I guess I was diagnosed with a rare disease. It's called systemic mastocytosis. So this is a very rare disease that has unknown outcomes and it affects your autoimmune system. So basically, I'm allergic to everything and can go into anaphylaxis at any point in time. So when I first started vomiting daily, everybody would get excited. They'd be like, oh my God, you're pregnant, how exciting. And I say to them, I wish I was, because then I'd know the cause and I'd also have an end date. But yeah, unfortunately, this is something that I've learnt to live with, and a few near-death experiences have shown me that your most important asset in your life is people. So the people in my world are the most valuable for me. I have gone from a boss to a mentor, from a parent to a role model. Every person in my world, I do my best to educate and teach them what I know, to leave a legacy behind. And these are the beautiful people that I spend my days with. They are an extended family, and in the Territory, it's important to have a great culture and an extended family, and these guys certainly are that for me. So at Abode New Homes, obviously we build houses. If anybody wants one, these guys will make it happen like you have no idea. So we also have a property management team, and I also business coach a couple of other businesses. So Laser Plumbing is another one that I coach. They've gone from a one-man band to now having 5 full-time staff. So I'm all about giving back and educating. This is my husband, Justin. This is absolutely my most favourite photo of him. It sums him up to a T. He would have to be the happiest person I've ever met. Very positive. We've been lucky enough to have a great relationship outside of work as well as in the office. So obviously we've had challenges within our marriage, but we've worked through them, and 22 years later, we're still happily married. These are my 3 beautiful boys, so I don't have a pointer, so I'll just point. This is Cody, he's 17, and he's achieving great things in his life. Bradley, who's the youngest, he's 12. He's a good negotiator, he's going to go a long way. And this is Jacob, who is 24. So Jacob, he has done amazingly, and we've mentored and coached him. He has his own investment portfolio, he's a qualified electrician, and he's gone through a huge amount in his life. And Cody is now an ICT apprentice, so they are doing really well. So I guess my message to a lot of people now is they don't believe that you can get into home ownership. A lot of people go, oh, kids these days, they can't own a house. Unfortunately, it's not that at all. Kids these days just don't have or don't know about financial literacy. So my goal now is to mentor and coach others into teaching the next generation some financial literacy and showing them that they can achieve great goals. I'm going to digress a little bit here, which I normally wouldn't. Easter weekend we went camping, and as we do, we're a very close-knit family, and there was an accident, and Jacob, who's 24, ended up with a broken leg in the hospital. I nearly wasn't here today. He was one of the rare ones that, when you go to the hospital and they tell you all the worst possible case scenarios. Yeah, well, he was 1 in a million that got the worst possible case scenario. So he's only just woke up from his coma 2 days ago. So it was a challenge for me to come here today and do this talk. I probably should mention the reason I am here is because I talk about mentoring others and young people. In actual fact, he mentors me with public speaking. So this whole slideshow, he has mentored me, helped me put it together. critiqued me and made sure it was as it should be. So he would have been disappointed if I didn't present today. So I guess I want to just put out to all of you in the room that I challenge you here today to delete the word problem from your life. You only have challenges from now forward. And when you run out of challenges, you need to go out and find some. Go and find some challenges, and then these will create opportunities for you. And if you've been lucky enough, like I have, they will then turn into successes. So thank you, and I hope you enjoyed my story.